Thanks, John. So I have heard a lot of feedback from parents and from teachers that is very mixed. And I think perhaps the real problem that we face is just that the rollout was so controversial that I think parents and teachers are a little bit confused about where we stand with what is being rolled out and when. There was a good external validation of the approach that we're taking from David Staples, who's an excellent education writer. And the thing that he has said is the K to 3 language arts and math program really incorporates in a lot of what parents were concerned about in making sure we've got foundational literacy and phonetics, as well as the math the way we used to learn it, so that we can get those basic skills up as well. When we're going into this next couple of years, especially since we have 2 years of learning loss and learning disruption, making sure that those two core foundations are brought up to the level where kids don't fall behind is really important. I've been saying that one of the things we need to do is make sure that we have at least some baseline testing. I think we have to acknowledge that there has been some learning loss, and if we have social promotion that moves kids along from one grade to the next without correcting some of these problems, we're going to have bigger problems down the road. So it looks to me like the curriculum addresses that in the K to 3, but we must also realize that there's probably been some learning loss at some of the other levels. And that to me would be the priority, is identifying where those losses are, ensuring that there's additional tutoring so that we can bring the kids up to grade level. I think we probably also should talk about the testing around learning disabilities and other type of learning needs. There's multiple different types of reasons why kids might be delayed, whether it's dyslexia or some of the other learning disabilities. And I'm concerned that we may have lost some ground in identifying those early. Also, kids need to see adults' mouths move in order to know how to properly make words. And I'm concerned that there may be some kids who've fallen behind and might need some specialized speech pathology. So my concern going into this year is less about the knowledge base and cramming kids with a bunch of facts than just making sure they've got foundation. I think we also need to really acknowledge that our front line has had a heck of a time over these last 2 years, and they're going to need extra help too. A few years ago, Stephen Mandel campaigned with the Alberta Party saying that we needed to have education assistants in every classroom. And I think that that is a very wise idea, especially as we recognize that these additional needs are going to take a couple of hands on deck if kids especially need to have that remedial learning. And I would just also say that in future, when we do these kind of rollouts, there has to be better engagement with the Alberta Teachers Association and frontline teachers. I think that as we're learning a little bit more about it, there's a couple of problems here and there, but the main problem is that they felt excluded. And in feeling excluded and feeling like they were being asked to do too much too soon, we ended up creating a lot of unnecessary pushback that could have been avoided with just some simple relationship building and allowing us to avoid problems along the way. So I think that there really is more of a process issue that we've got to deal with for future. But the way we landed with K to 3, focus on language arts and math, I think generally speaking, we'll very likely get a lot of buy-in from both parents and teachers on that.